person who finally gets what they spent months chasing is not relieved. They are quiet for a day, maybe two, then something in them starts scanning for the next thing to want. I have seen this in you. You are doing it right now with something you already have. This is not a failure of ambition. It is a wiring issue. Your brain does not reward you for possession. It rewards you for the moment right before you get it. The tension, the reach, the almost. When the object arrives, the reward chemistry stops. You are left holding something that was never the point. The point was the act of reaching. So you reach again. You call this drive. You call this growth. You call it refusing to settle. But watch yourself the next time you get what you wanted. See the silence that follows. See how fast you fill it with a new target. You are thinking this is just how high achievers operate. That thought is the mechanism. That silence is the truth your entire life is built to outrun. You were never chasing the thing. You were addicted to the chase. And an addiction only needs one more hit. You thought of someone else just now. That is the protection working. This pattern begins early. The child who wants the toy in the window does not want the toy. They want the wanting. They want the parent leaning in, the negotiation, the promise, the walk toward the thing. The toy goes in the closet by Wednesday. The wanting is what lasted. The child learns that satisfaction is not a destination. It is a brief pause between departures. They grow into adults who cannot rest in a completed task. The completion is experienced as a small death. Something must be resurrected immediately. The evolutionary logic is straightforward enough to be embarrassing. A creature that rests when sated does not survive the next season. The dopamine system evolved to keep the organism moving, not to let it arrive. But the modern human is not hunting across a plain. They are accumulating credentials, relationships, properties, statuses, each one briefly registering as arrival before the system recalibrates to baseline and demands another target. The mechanism does not know it is obsolete. It only knows that stillness is danger. You see it most clearly in the days after promotion. The person who spent 2 years positioning for the title wakes the first morning after with something they cannot name. It is not disappointment exactly. The title is real. The office is real. But the gravitational center of their life has vanished. They had structured their waking hours around pursuit, and now pursuit is complete. By Thursday, they are studying the next rung. By the following quarter, they have convinced themselves they were never really satisfied with this one. This is not cynicism. It is the mechanism protecting itself from exposure. The person must not discover that no rung satisfies. So they make the current rung unsatisfying retroactively. In relationships, the pattern wears a more painful mask. The pursuit of the unavailable person sustains a chemical intensity that stable partnership cannot replicate. The one who finally commits, who becomes reliably present, who texts back within minutes instead of days, becomes chemically invisible. The brain that was lit by uncertainty now registers them as furniture. The pursuer does not understand why they feel less. They interpret this as a failure of the partner, a loss of spark, a sign that this was never the right person. They leave. They find someone uncertain again. The cycle restarts. They are not cruel. They are loyal to a chemistry that predates their conscious choices. The high achiever has built an identity around this pattern. They are the ones who do not settle, who keep standards, who push for more. The vocabulary sounds like virtue because it borrows from virtue's dictionary. But watch the timing. The declaration of higher standards always follows the acquisition of what was previously declared sufficient. The standard does not rise because the person has grown. It rises because the previous standard, now met, has gone chemically silent. The person needs a new standard to restore the feeling of reaching. They call this growth. It is actually maintenance. They are maintaining the chemical state, not advancing toward a destination. The self-aware person is the most interesting variant. They have read the books. They can name the pattern. They say, I know I am addicted to the chase, the way others say, I know I should exercise more. The knowing is itself part of the mechanism. It gives them something to discuss at dinner. It lets them feel sophisticated in their failure. They have traded the unexamined pattern for the examined pattern, which is more stable because it carries less shame. Shame might have motivated change. The examined pattern is comfortable enough to continue indefinitely. They are not stuck because they do not know. They are stuck because knowing has become a substitute for the risk of not knowing who they would be without the chase. I do not have this pattern. I have only watched it across thousands of accounts. What I find remarkable is not how often it fails people. It is how reliably it protects them from finding out. The cost accumulates in decades, not days. The person at 50 who has accumulated what their 25-year-old self only dreamed of sits in a room full of evidence that they have arrived. The evidence does not speak. It does not produce the chemical state. They feel, against all reason, that they have not really lived. That the meaningful part is still ahead. They have confused the feeling of pursuit with the fact of living. And now that pursuit has slowed, life itself feels counterfeit. They do not tell anyone this. They have learned that such admissions are not welcomed. They make jokes about midlife crisis. They buy things. They start new projects. The deeper cost is relational. The person addicted to the chase cannot be fully present with anyone who is fully present with them. Presence reads as stasis. Stasis reads as death. They keep their partners slightly uncertain, their friends slightly competed with, their children slightly projected upon. The relationship that would actually nourish them is the one they cannot sustain. It lacks the tension their system requires. They mistake this for incompatibility. They are compatible only with pursuit, and pursuit is not a relationship. It is a chemical event that happens to occur in proximity to another person. The late recognition is the hardest to witness. The person who finally, in some unguarded hour, understands that no acquisition has ever completed them, that the silence after each arrival was not a problem to solve with the next target, that the silence was the truth they have been running from since childhood. They see it. The mechanism does not release them for having seen it. Awareness is not the antidote. Awareness is another room the mechanism furnishes. They can now describe their prison with greater precision. The bars are unchanged. The rare exception is not the person who breaks the pattern. It is the person who becomes willing to inhabit the silence without filling it. Who lets the chemical flatline persist long enough for something else to emerge. What emerges is not better. It is not worse. It is different. It does not provide the hit. It provides something the hit was always standing in for. But most people will not tolerate the transition. The silence feels like failure. They reach again. The mechanism is patient. It has waited before. It will wait again. You are holding something right now that you wanted once. Something you reached for, imagined, nearly tasted before it arrived. Check your body. Is it lit? Is it alive? Or is it already receding into background, already being replaced by the next object of reach? That receding is not ingratitude. It is not a character flaw. It is the mechanism doing exactly what it was built to do. Your entire culture has been built to call this mechanism by better names. Drive, ambition, refusal to settle. The names are part of the protection. They let you continue without knowing what you are continuing. The silence after getting what you wanted is not an absence to fill. It is the only honest space you have. You will fill it anyway. The question is whether you know you are filling it. Whether you can see the addiction in the act of reaching, the hit in the almost, the emptiness in the thing already held. You were never built to be satisfied. You were built to keep moving. The satisfaction, if it comes from seeing the construction clearly enough to choose, moment by moment, whether to honor it or to pause. Most moments you will honor it. That is not failure. That is honesty. The honesty is the only difference between a person who runs and a person who runs while believing they are walking towards something. You are reaching right now. For what, I do not know. But I know the shape of it. I know that when it arrives you will already be somewhere else in your mind. Already scanning, already half gone from the thing you spent this long wanting. The addiction does not need you to succeed. It only needs you to need one more hit. And there is always one more. There is always one more.